Chinchin business is one lucrative and profitable business which I can guarantee you that you will make millions in if you follow the right recipe and you are also consistent in the business. For this recipe, I use a paint rubber and a half of flour to make this. 8.5 cups of sugar depending on how sweet you want it to be. Then I use some eggs. Do not worry, list of the ingredients will be on the screen. It will be in the comment section below, and it's also be in the description box below. Do work to check any of the 3 places, it's going to be there. Now for the margarine or the butter, I normally use a combination of Jubi and Simmers. The two go hand in hand, and I'll give you the measurements as well. If you're not using powder milk for your chin-chin, you are just missing out on profit. Now I'm also going to use milk flavor. This brand is trusted. Please do well to use this brand if you can lay your hands on it. It's not only flavors your chin-chin, but gives it this milky flavor and taste. Like, it's just so yummy. Also, I love using Hollandia evaporated milk for my chin-chin because it adds a rich flavor and taste to it. If you have old baking powder at home, do not use it, please. Use fresh baking powder that you are sure that it is airtight and it is going to perform wonders. Then I love using Foster Clark, that is vanilla flavor or vanilla extract for my chin-chin, but you can do away with it if you're already using milk flavor. Then nutmeg. The importance of nutmeg in your chin-chin cannot be overemphasized. Like, it just gives it a very, very yummy taste, and it also gives it a nice smell that when you're frying the chin-chin self, you self go you hungry, you make it chop. So this is me just prepping everything, removing everything that is in the sachet out of the sachet. Now I'm going to tell you the disadvantages of this chin-chin business, the stress that comes with it, because it's only the sweet part I want you all to hear. I want you all to hear every single part of it. So let's just continue first, then I'll tell you guys the most annoying part of this chin-chin business or stressful part. Into a bowl, I'm going to crack in 7 eggs, all the eggs I'll be using for this. Although I added in some eggs later on, let's just be counting how many I used. I used 7 at this point. Then when I added the 7 into this bowl, I went in with my Hollandia evaporated milk. Then I added in my Foster Clark, that is the vanilla extract. I added it at this point. Then I gave it a quick mix. That's I mixed everything well to combine and set them aside. If you do not have enough capital to start off with eggs, although there's eggless chin-chin that does not have egg, you can make chin-chin like that and it will still bang. It will still taste really nice. You still make your profits, but it will never be as delicious as adding eggs to your chin-chin, guys. But I can show you a recipe on how to make chin-chin without eggs. That's another recipe. If you type it in the comment section that you need the recipe, I am going to turn up and I'm going to show you the recipe for that. In this big bowl, I just added in my flour, I added in my sugar, I added in my milk flavor. Basically all my dry ingredients are going straight into this big bowl. I added my nutmeg as well. Guys, you need a very spacious bowl whenever you're making chin-chin so that it will be easy for you to knead. You see that white ingredients I added in before this baking powder? That is salt. You need to balance everything with salt. So I added in salt as well. Then I added my baking powder. You will notice that I did not put my baking powder on top of my salt. You don't do that when you are baking. You put them separately. So you now mix everything well to combine. Make sure every single corner incorporates very well. Guys, this video is very detailed though. You will not find it anywhere else. Once all the dry ingredients have been mixed properly, then you want to add in your butter. Now let me now tell you where I made mistakes. I would love to tell you where I made mistakes because I am not perfect. I want your own to be perfect as well. Whenever you're making chin-chin, if you are using 1 pint of flour, use 1 sachet of butter. If you are making 1.5 pints, in my case I made 1.5 pints, use 1.5 pints of flour for the chin-chin. So I should have used 1.5 pack of butter, but I used 2, so it was too rich and the oil was bubbling when I was frying it. So you want to avoid that mistake. So I'm just rubbing everything in at this point, and you notice that it is ready when it is crumb like you will notice that the flour is very, very moldy. That's when you know that everything has mixed properly. After my dry ingredients must have been mixed properly, I'm going to add in my wet ingredients which I prepared at the beginning of the video. I'm also going to add in the rinse out because nothing is wasting in this current Nigeria. Then I will start mixing. Once you start mixing, be careful not to add in too much water at the beginning. Just keep on kneading till you notice that you need more water, and I'll tell you when you will know that. At this point, I went in with additional 2 eggs because I did not want to add in more water to this because I felt like just the 2 eggs would be enough. That means I'm using 9 eggs in total if you've counted properly. But I dropped the full list of ingredients on the screen, in the caption, and everywhere. It is everywhere. Check it out. Then I'll start mixing. If you're making this in large quantity, then you want to add in half cup of water at intervals if you notice that you still have white patches of flour all over. But if you are making it in a very small quantity for just you and your family to consume, then you should be adding the water drop by drop, just bit by bit, because any small mistake can ruin the whole process of the chin-chin. Honestly, to me, this is the second most stressful part of chin-chin production. That is kneading it, especially when you have a large order like this, a large bulk like this. You have to just put on the floor and start doing this. I had to put on the floor because not me go kill myself. I can't come and kill myself on top chin-chin, no. So I just continue kneading, adding in water bit by bit, kneading, and you can see that it's coming together nicely. Another thing you want to take note of is that you do not allow, you don't knead for too long. You do not knead for too long, please. If you knead for too long, your chin-chin is going to come out very, very strong at the end of the process. But there's a way to bypass that. That is, when you are done kneading, you place it in the fridge to rest for like 1 hour or 30 minutes. Let the gluten relax before you start cutting. If you are still watching to this point and this is your first time coming across my channel, it means that you love this video already. Just give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, then leave me a comment if possible. Thanks a lot. Now the dough is ready. It is set already. Like, I was so relieved after this process, actually, honestly speaking. So I placed it in the fridge to rest for like 30 minutes because nobody go chop hard chin-chin. So I put it in the fridge to rest for like 30 minutes, and after 30 minutes I brought it out. Honestly speaking, this dining table brought back childhood memories. Before you use your dining table for this type of stuff, you have to clean it with enough soap and water. You can see how my dining table is shining clean. Then you now want to start cutting the dough, the whole dough, into tiny portions that you can work with at a time. Then once you do that, you want to roll it out. You can see how easily my dough is cutting. It is not being sticky, it is just being proper. I'm going to start working with this one, but before that I'll sprinkle some flour on it. Then I'll just knead it a bit so that it can bounce back. Then once I do that, I am just going to roll it out with my rolling pin. Wow, look at that dining table, look at how it's shining, guys. It's so clean. Then I'm just going to knead everything out, roll it out so that it can be flat. Then the inch you want is about an inch or half an inch. That's the width of the rolling out you want to do. You do not want to roll it to be too fat or too thin. You want it to be proper, either half an inch or an inch. It is fine by you. It is your chin-chin. Do whatever you want to do with it. After rolling it out properly like this, I'm going to take my knife and start cutting it. Ordinarily, to save yourself the stress, you can use your pizza cutter to do that. I have a video where I use pizza cutter to do that. I have about 2 chin-chin recipes on my channel. I think the second one has where I used pizza cutter to do that, but pizza cutter will not give me that fine shape. I love it looking very demure, looking like something that you use a machine to do. So I love to use my hand for everything. And mind you, the effort of family members is also dependent on this chin-chin. The outcome of the chin-chin depends on the effort of family members. Yeah, it depends on it, the dependent variable. So I'm just going to everybody's working at this point. They're at the background. You see some people cutting something at the background. You see how I'm sprinkling flour on this already. Then I'm just going to set aside so that it does not stick. Then I'll start cutting into that tiny cubes. The reason why I'm doing all these things is because I want the final outcome that once somebody sees it or wants to buy it or wants to eat it, the person will be like, wow. The eyes will first feed. Not that the chin-chin, some will be looking triangle, some robo circle, some will be looking square. You want everything to be uniformly cut so that everything will be perfect. So I just cut everything out, then I spray it on a tray with flour and set aside. Obviously, you saw a shape of chin-chin on the thumbnail. That's why you clicked to watch, right? I'm going to make that one, that strip shape, those long ones. I'm also going to make that. And to make that, you just want to take the cut out chin-chin, just cut it like this as you are seeing on the screen. Cut it simple and short. I love doing this one because it is less stressful. I do not need to cut it into cubes, tiny cubes again. So once I do this, it is fine. Lay it on a tray and set aside. At this point, I am done cutting, and this is my best part when I'm done cutting, is just to fry. Though frying is also stressful because you have to be frying it in batches. So done cutting, everything is set, then it is time to start frying. And I want to tell you guys a story, but before I tell you that story, it is quite funny, but it is something to take note of. I am going to just tell you what you will do here, then I'll start telling you the story. I added in my oil into a pan. This wok I bought of recent. You want to test to see if the oil is hot with a broomstick or skewer. If you add it, put the broomstick or the skewer inside and you see it's bubbling gently, then the oil is at the right temperature. You can start frying immediately. Now you can see this big chin-chin, these ones are looking big. You can sell this for as high as 200 naira, 150 or 100 naira depending on what you want. I can show you how to make that one in a separate video. That's a very lucrative business as well, although it follows the same process, chin-chin process. It's just the cutting that is quite different. Now I'm going to fry the chin-chin, just be stirring it at regular intervals so it does not burn. Now I want to tell you something. Apologies though, this video does not have an end where I will be showing you the quantity of chin-chin because of something happened and I would love to share with you all. So as I'm frying this chin-chin like this now, you can see this wok, this pan that I'm using. It's called a wok. I got it on recent, then I have been using it to film and I've been enjoying the pots, the pan or the wok rather. I've been enjoying it. Then ordinarily, if I am making chin-chin, I normally use a very spacious pot, like a round pot. All these traditional pots that I normally use because of the oil boiling over. I don't like when the oil is boiling over and it's spilling on the gas. It causes accidents. So on this day, I used the wok. I was not meant to use this wok on that day. The wok started foaming, like the chin-chin started, the oil started boiling over and it was pouring on the gas. I had to turn it. I was really scared that night that, God, hope an accident will not occur. So this sounds funny, but at the same time, this is just for you to take note of. If you are making your own chin-chin, do not use something that is too compact or is too small. Although the work is very wide, but at the same time it is kind of shallow, it is not deep. Had it been it was deep and wide, then perfect. But this one, it is wide and shallow, which is not perfect. So you want to use something that is very deep and very, very wide for your chin-chin. Do not use something very compact when you're making chin-chin. Now you can see me frying everything, frying the spiral one. And the sad part of this is that I didn't film when I fried the cube ones because of that accident I told you guys about, which I thank God did not turn into an accident actually, but I cleaned oil that night. I wanted to cry. So that's how you basically make your chin-chin in bulk, and it always comes out really nice. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. And do not forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share with your friends, family, your loved ones, everyone.